Hi, this is Trey Passer, and welcome to my film series review, volume 12 again. And like I promised in the last video, um, I reviewed a movie that I watched. Actually, I've seen parts of it, but not all of it. Today was the first day that I've seen Marnie from beginning to end. Okay, and that's 1964's Marnie, starring Sean Connery and Tippi Hedren. That's Alfred Hitchcock's suspenseful sex mystery. Da da da. Anyway, came out in 1964 and stars Tippi Hedren and uh, Sean Connery, and Diane Baker is in it as well. Okay, and this is basically a story about Marnie Edgar. Uh, she's has serious psychological issues. She's a habitual liar and a thief who basically takes jobs as secretaries for these companies, and she stays there for a few months until she learns to learn the lay of the land. Yeah, and then she robs them of money and then moves on to the next job. Okay, and you see she and every once in between jobs she goes back home and she gives her crippled mother, money, and you can tell there's issue between her and her mother because especially during the first visit you see where you can see she's sort of jealous of her mother who's taking care of a neighborhood girl, and you can tell it's a grown woman and she's kind of you can tell that she's jealous of the relationship that the mother that's having with this young girl, like baking a pie for her, combing her hair, stuff that I guess you could almost say that she would want her mother to do for her, even though she's a grown woman. You can tell that she has psychological issues as far as that's concerned. Anyway, into her life at one of her jobs, uh, she meets Sean Connery's character, Mark Rutland, who runs his own company. Okay, and he kind of you can see as the movie begins, you can see you see the aftermath of one of her jobs where she's the president of the company is basically telling detectives that this lady ran off with almost $10,000 worth of cash and stuff, and how she didn't have any real references and stuff, and Sean Connery's character Mark Rutland is like a client of this guy's company, and he kind of remarks that he kind of remembers her, 'cause I think he met her once. And he kind of remembers her. So then later, when Marnie, in a different disguise, because she's sort of a habitual liar, and she changes her look when she goes from one job to another job. She applied for a job at Mark Rutland's company, okay, and she really doesn't have. She only has really one experience, one reference. But Mark Rutland kind of recognized. I think you can tell that he kind of recognized her, and he basically tells the guy that works for him to go ahead and hire her, and he hires her to work for the company. But and as you can see, he gets to know her, and he tells that she has a love of horses and stuff, and he gets to know her, and they start to kind of date and go to, and there's even a part when they're out on a date where a guy walks up to her and kind of recognizes her under another name, and she kind of pretends that she doesn't know what he's talking about, and of course Mark Rutland runs him off. So then you know that she's been doing this for a while, and this guy is really for real. He recognizes her even though she kind of changes her look, but he knows what her one of her aliases what one of her aliases was. Okay, okay now so she decides that it's time to make a beat to get out of here. So she's been carefully studying the way the manager opens up the safe. That he opens up the drawer because he can't remember the combination. He looks at the combination in the drawer, and then he goes and opens up the safe. So she decides to steal. Okay, but Mark Rutland is onto her, and he catches her, and he basically gives her an ultimatum. He tells her, listen, you either marry me or I'm going to report you to the police. Okay, and basically she kind of forces her to marry him, and it basically even goes on a honeymoon with her. And that's when he really discovers the depth of her psychological issues, because she doesn't even though they kissed before, she doesn't, and they're set up in their honeymoons thing on the boat. She doesn't want, she even tells that she can't even stand a touch, his touch. She basically recalls in horror, and he can tell that she has psychological issues, that there's something in her past that's, causing her this anguish, where she doesn't even want his touch. Okay, and he basically kind of goes along with her for a while without forcing himself on her, even though there is a scene, and this is a spoiler. Okay, minus spoiler. Well, this is a spoiler. There is a scene where it appears that he does rape her. Okay, I know there's a lot of controversy about this because it kind of there's a scene where he because he he barges into the room where she is because in the meantime they've been staying in different parts of the cabin, and he forces himself in when he's kind of frustrated with her that she doesn't want help, and he kind of comforts her, and then you see him kind of lay her down, but you see her go stiff, and he lays her down, and then it kind of fades to black, and then you see the next scene is he's waking up in bed and she's not there, and it's kind of implied that he had sex with her. Okay, but you see that from the way she was all stiff, and it looks like she was just not into it at all. Like maybe he did rape her. And I read some things where they think maybe he did, but I know it may be kind of iffy. I was kind of iffy about that part, whether he did or not, because you kind of see him lay her down, but she goes stiff, like she's not really into it. I mean, he kisses her, and then comforting her, and then he kind of lays her down, but you can see her go stiff, like she doesn't, like she's in another place. And so whether he did or not, it's very possible he did, I guess, maybe thinking that she was giving in. Okay, but in any event, the next thing he goes looking for her because she's not there, and he finds her in the pool like she tried to kill herself. Okay, and he's determined, of course, when they get back, they cut their honeymoon short and go back to their house, to his family house, and he's determined to try to get her help. And he starts investigating her mother because he finds out from his sister, his nosy sister-in-law, who kind of really doesn't like Marnie, that Marnie has a mother somewhere, and he starts investigating her past to find out why she's the way she is. Okay, now this movie, let's say it's not Hitchcock's best. I don't think it's his best. I think it's good. I think Tippi Hedren was really good as this psychologically damaged person, and you can see anytime she sees red, she freaks out, and Thunder and Lightning totally freaks her out. And there's a reason, of course, that you find out later in the movie why she has the issues that she has. And I thought Sean Connery was good as well, but I think the movie's kind of a little bit too long. Okay, to kind of drag it out a little bit too long. I think the movie could have been a little bit shorter, but it's still entertaining. But I don't think it's Hitchcock's best. Okay, like I said, it's a psychological thing about trying to find out what's causing Marnie all this, this why she is the way she is. Okay, and it has to do with her mother and stuff. And like I said, I don't want to spoil it exactly, but it was entertaining. But I think it could have been a little bit shorter. I think it kind of dragged out a little bit too long. Okay, but okay, I don't think, like I said, I don't think it's Hitchcock's best, but I think it still was entertaining. And I would give Marnie a 7 out of 10. Okay, I'll give Marnie a 7 out of 10. I don't think it's the best, Hitchcock's best, but I think you do get good performances in it, and I think the story just kind of drags out a little bit way too long. Okay, but other than that, I think it's you could actually get good performance from Tippi Hedren and Sean Connery. Okay, so I would give, and Diane Baker is in this movie as well as the nosy sister-in-law. Okay, I give Marnie a 7 out of 10. Okay. Okay, so that's my review. If you've seen Marnie, let me know what you think. This is my first time seeing it all the way through. I've seen parts of Marnie, but not all of it until today. Like I said, I don't think it's Hitchcock's best, but I think it was a decent movie. Okay, and good performances by the lead actors and stuff. But anyway, let me know what you think about Marnie. Feel free to leave comments down below. And if you like this video, please hit the subscribe button below. Okay, and next week, since I reviewed 2 movies today, let's see what next 2 movies are in the Hitchcock set. Okay, Torn Curtain, which I had never seen, Paul Newman and Julie Andrews. Okay, so that'll be that movie, Torn Curtain, and also Topaz, starring John Forsythe. Okay, and Diane Rigg. I think that's Diane Rigg. Is it Diane Rigg? No, I don't think that's. No, John Forsythe. It looks like Diane Rigg, but I don't think it is. I'm looking at the credits here. There, and Topaz. Okay. See? So I haven't seen those 2 movies, so that'll be the first. Again, it'll be Torn Curtain and Topaz. 2 movies that I haven't seen, Hitchcock movies I haven't seen. Anyway, this is Trey Pastor saying so long and take care.